Hi everyone. This week I'm going to be talking about love bombing, mainly because I've seen a lot about it recently and I thought I would come on and give my take on it. So have a listen. I'm sure it will resonate with a lot of you, the points that I have to make. Those that don't know me, my name's Sam Morris. I am a former probation officer turned healthy relationship and sex coach. My mission is to try and help end this loneliness epidemic that we have got in the men of today. What makes me qualified to do that? Well, as a probation officer, I have worked with hundreds of men who have different variations of issues within relationships. I've taught group healthy relationship programs, group healthy sex programs, and in my time as a coach, I've done that to people that are not forced to be there. I can help you change the way that you feel about dating, about relationships, and help you attract the person that is actually right for you. So, without further ado, here we go. Love bombing. Meet Felicity. I have changed Felicity's name and picture to anonymize her. Felicity met two men on a dating app, two different men, and they were talking, having a lovely conversation. Man number two quickly asked her out for a coffee. They then went on a second date a couple of days later at the restaurant. They obviously realised that they liked each other and they went on a second date. She loved it. She cut off contact with man number one and decided to just pursue this. And she went to the internet and she talked about how great the date was and how he asked her for coffee and then they went on a date and then they went on a second date and now they're meeting up for a third date. And what the internet did was they said, sounds like he's love bombing you. They didn't say, oh my God, that's amazing. He sounds like a great catch. Now, those of you that know me, that listen to me, maybe you work with me, because some of my clients actually listen to my free stuff as well. You will know that I promote this. I say, get off the dating app as quick as possible because you cannot decide whether you actually have a connection with someone until you see them. So, this happened. Felicity felt sad. She started to doubt her own abilities. So many comments, like I mean hundreds of comments. Some were nice, some were saying, oh, that's great, I'm so happy for you. But the majority of them kept saying, sounds like love bombing. Do you think it was love bombing? Do you think going on a date for coffee and then saying, actually, I had a really nice time here, let's go on a second date, let's go in 3 days' time? Is that love bombing? Is that too much? I don't know. So to work this out, I'm going to explain to you what love bombing is, but I want you to think about me. So I am a coach. I work with a lot of clients. You watch this video and you think, hey, I like her. I am going to get one of her free downloads, or I'm going to do her quiz. I've got a quiz that basically asks you whether you're ready to date, and then what happens afterwards is I send you some tips about what you need to do. I'll put that in the show notes if anyone actually wants to do it, or obviously in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. But this is your process, and you're like, you know, I might want to work with her. And then as soon as you put your email address in, maybe you put your actual address, and I don't ask for people's actual addresses, but I know some people that do. When you sign up to mailing lists, it's like, give me your actual address, give me your phone number, give me your date of birth, everything, all of the things. I don't do that. I just ask for your name and your email address. But let's just imagine that you had given me your address, and the day after you gave me that, I sent you a present. So I sent you some chocolates, and on the chocolates it said, "Oh, thank you for signing up." And you would be like, "Oh, that's nice. That's cute." And then the following day, you get some more chocolates, and you think, maybe she's made a mistake. Maybe she's sent them twice. Who knows? On the third day, you get not one box of chocolates, but you get 5 boxes of chocolates from me. They say, from Sam Morris. Thank you very much. Thanks for, doing the quiz. You're like, why is she sending me so much chocolate? And then day 4, you get 20 bunches of flowers. At this point, are you thinking that I am insane? Maybe. If I was sending you stuff to your email address, maybe on day 1, I've sent you, here's some free tips. That's great. You really appreciate that. And you're happy about that. And then on day 2, I send you my course for free. My course that, you're like, why is she sending the course? It's like £1,000. Day 3, I then send you a load of books, like free ebooks. And then day 4, I'm like, I'm going to give you a one-to-one for free. I'm going to give you, I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to give you 3 months one-to-one for free. And you're like, what is the catch here? Actually, she's weird. I don't trust her. Unsubscribe. Bye. Okay. Team that with me. Also, I'm sending you emails and I'm saying, you are amazing. You are so loved. You're brave. You are gorgeous. Well done. You've literally not had any interaction with me other than this first interaction where I've sent you the video saying, this is what you need to improve on based on what you scored in the quiz. And I'm sending you emails and I'm saying, you're so amazing. I'm going to send you a text as well. You are amazing. And then maybe we get onto a Zoom call, because all of my one-to-one clients, I actually interview them before we start with the one-to-one in, and there's actually a story behind why I do that. I'm not going to tell you now. Keep listening, and watch my other videos, and you'll find out why I interview all of my clients, because it's a funny story. Anyway, we have a Zoom, and you say, I go out on dates, and I don't know what the problem is with these women, and I say, you know what, I agree. I don't know what that woman's problem is. And then you say, I bought them a present and they were offended. I don't know what their problem is. And I say, I agree. And you say to me, actually, I don't think that I've got any problems. The reason that I can't get into a relationship is because of somebody else. It's not me, it's them. And I say to you, I agree. Are you buying my one-to-one? Just think about it. Have you decided that I'm the person for you because I'm agreeing with everything that you've said? Possibly not. Now it gets a little bit more intense. And I say to you on our one-to-one, in our emails, in the texts that I send to you, life is better if we're together. Me and you are soulmates. We're soulmates. Do you know why we're soulmates? Because you were meant to meet me because I was meant to make you better. Are you booking me as your coach? Have you decided that I am actually your soulmate and I am the one for you? We just, got introduced via email last week. And, in week 2, we are soul mates and I love you. No, I don't think that you think that. And actually, if I did do that to one of my clients or potential clients and they decided to take me on and I did all of these things, I wouldn't take them on, because why would you want me to be your coach if I'm going to agree with you all the time? I'm going to tell you when we've only just met that we are absolute soulmates and we were meant to be together, because actually I could be your coach for 3 months and I could help you a lot. And then actually after those 3 months, you're like, okay, Sam, I'm done now. I've had business coaches over my time that I've moved on from. They were great for me then, but then I moved forward. I have a lot of, feelings towards those business coaches. And I do have a lot of love towards them because they did help me a lot, but we're not soulmates. I'm going to continue to email you and text you, let's say 15 times a day. Yeah, we're by this point we're in week 3 and I've done all the other things and I'm emailing you, I'm texting you 15 times a day. Come work with me, please come work with me. Oh, what are you up to? How's your day going? Are you getting annoyed with me? Am I making you feel uncomfortable? I cannot believe that you have listened to another podcaster. We're in week 4, by the way. I'm so upset. I'm going to text you really nasty, nasty stuff. I'm going to email you. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you betray me like that? Who are you talking to? Who are you listening to? Are you calling the police on me right now? Let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, let me know in the comments like how you feel about me doing all of that to you. Makes you feel uncomfortable. Humans naturally, we don't like to be mean. Some people do actually, go onto YouTube, you'll see. Some people do like to be mean, but the majority of people do not like to be mean and they don't want to tell someone to go away. And that's why, with businesses, you have an unsubscribe button. If you personally had to ring someone up and say, I don't want to be on your mailing list anymore, then you probably wouldn't do it. You would just continue being on, and just delete the email. You wouldn't even open it. So let's transfer that into dating. You just met this person and you've gone on a coffee date. And I do advise people to go on a coffee date. And the reason that I advise a coffee date is simply because no one wants to waste lots of time. No one wants to waste lots of money. No one wants to waste their energy on people that are not right for them. And you can pretty much from a coffee date tell whether you would like to see this person again or not. So you go on your coffee date and you agree in 3 days time you're going to go on a real date because actually you liked each other and that was cool. And in those days that have gone, the 3 days, you have found out where she works because maybe she told you on the coffee date, oh, I work here, and you've sent her a bunch of flowers, and you've also then sent her some chocolates, and her bosses are getting a bit like, maybe you shouldn't have stuff sent here, that's a bit odd. And then you're texting her and you're saying, you're so amazing, you are just brilliant, you're so beautiful, I just loved our date so much at the coffee shop. Bear in mind, you probably spent about half an hour with this person. And then they're saying to you, oh, because you're having back and forth with your texts. And they're saying, oh, my boss is a right dick. And you're saying, oh, I absolutely agree with you. You then start, this is before you go on the date, you're messaging, you're saying, I think we're soulmates. I think we're meant to be together from our 30-minute coffee date that we had. And then you start texting, you say, what are you doing? What are you doing today? Who are you with? I don't really want you hanging out with your friends. I just want you to spend all the time with me. Let's move in together. This is 4 weeks later. You're 4 weeks in. Let's move in together. I want you to be with me all the time. I just miss you so much. Maybe you should get a job where you work from home. I don't know if this is anything that you have done. It's hard, and it is hard because there is a fine line between love bombing and healthy dating. When you first meet someone, you do want to know everything about them. Because when you find someone that you think they're interesting, you want to know who their friends are and you want to treat them right. And there's this old, I don't know if it's a saying or just a thought, a belief, that when you've been with someone for 5 years, the only reason that you would buy them flowers is because you've done something wrong. But it's perfectly acceptable to buy people flowers that you just met. And I think that that's wrong, and I don't think that people should do that. And someone actually said to me, it was my dad. It was my dad said to me, after my husband had bought me some flowers, he said to me, oh, what's he done? And I was like, nothing. I don't think. But when we first got together, no one would have questioned why he bought me flowers. So there is a fine line. And it's very difficult because there's conflicting advice out there. If you Google what should the gap be between the first date and the second date, there's quite a few different conflicting views. I think Wikipedia, WikiHow, says it should be under a week. So you have your first date, and then before it's been 7 whole days, you should have a second date. Another website said it should be within 2 weeks because you want to keep the love and the not the love, but the way that you are feeling about each other. You don't want time to have second thoughts, which I always think, well, if you're having second thoughts, then something isn't right anyway. Might not be that person isn't right for you. It might be the problem is you. Maybe you're having second thoughts because you've got trust issues or something like that. But yeah. So there's conflicting advice out there. What I say will be very different to another relationship coach. Like I said, you do actually want to get to know them. That's not love bombing. Love bombing is something completely different, and it blurs the lines. And a lot of people will say it's about narcissistic behavior, and there's a lot of gaslighting. If you don't know what gaslighting is, it's me. This is a pen. Can you see the pen? Yes. For those on the podcast, I'm holding up a pen. And now I'm going to tell you that this is not a pen. What do you mean it's not a pen, it's a pencil? You think it's a pen? It's a pencil. Yes. It doesn't have any ink. It's made with lead. It's a pencil. Now, that is essentially gaslighting. That's just making someone doubt their own ability and their own thoughts and their own kind of feelings. That's obviously a very simplistic version of it. And when gaslighting gets really intense, and there are some really intense relationships that have this, it can become very dangerous. But love bombing is often associated with narcissistic behavior and gaslighting. And I absolutely agree with that. But there is still a fine line. The other issue is that you actually might not realise that you're doing it. I used to work with a guy. He's in a very happy relationship now, but I used to work with a guy, and he grew up with a mum and a dad. They lived in the same household, and they didn't really argue. And it was just your standard household. There was no trauma, nothing like that. But all he'd ever seen was his mum and dad together. He'd never seen anyone dating. And then when he went off to uni, a lot of his friends went off to uni and they all went to separate places. And he really struggled at university to make new friends. He didn't enjoy it. He always had the same friends from when he was a kid. So he really struggled with the new concepts, and he made acquaintances, but they're not people that he kept in touch with after university. They were just people that he partied his days away with. He got back from university and obviously he kept in touch with all of his friends from before, but he quickly realized that they were all in relationships and he was still single. He kind of struggled to speak to women. Every woman that he spoke to assumed that he was trying to kind of just have sex with them and then that would be it. And in all fairness, he was in uni and that was kind of the life that he wanted. He had never seen the start of a relationship. He'd never been taught it. No one tells you in school, oh, right, when you first start dating, you ask each other on a date, or maybe you go halves on a date. He never learned any of that. His parents had never told him anything. They'd been together forever. They didn't talk about that sort of thing. So when he then did put himself out there and he put himself onto dating apps and he started going on dates, he didn't know how to behave. And he Googled how to show a woman that you like her. And if you Google that, the regular things, pay her compliments, send her gifts, text her, agree to some extent to what she's saying. These are things that, actually do work in a relationship when it's not overpowering. And he would go on these dates and he would have a brilliant time and he would really think that these women were the next one for him, that, and he's seeing in his head, oh, maybe I could get married one day. And he's going on date after date with different people because what's happening is he's following the advice and he's sending the gifts and he's texting And the women are saying, this is too much. Because no one taught him what was too much. If that sounds like you, that's fine. That's what these videos are for, to help people. That's what the other relationship coaches out there are there for, to help people. That's what books are for, TED Talks, all of these things to help people, because you didn't learn it at school. And that's okay. Because you are clearly interested in learning now. What I did with him was I worked with him on the basis of what is the right times to send stuff. Maybe don't send a gift to their workplace that they've flippantly told you, oh, I work here, on your first date. Don't send a gift there. And we worked together for quite a long time, and he did have a lot of issues. He had a lot of confidence issues, and we worked through that about introducing yourself to people. And we did a lot of practice, and what I do in my work is a lot of practice. You will practice with me. I will get actresses to come and practice because practice, and you'd have heard this from being a child, practice makes perfect. We're not looking for perfection, but you get the idea. The more you practice, the better you get at something. If you decided you wanted to start learning to speak Italian, something that I'm currently doing, another long story, but I went to Italy and I felt really bad that an Italian man apologized to me that his English was bad. And I said, my Italian is bad too. And he said, yeah, but English is the universal language. And it made me feel guilty. So what do? I'm going to learn Italian. Can I speak fluent Italian from having one Italian lesson? No, I cannot. Even if I did all the Italian lessons, if I didn't actually practice it, if I just watched all the Italian lessons and it all went into my brain, but I didn't ever speak Italian, when I went to Italy, I would be like, ciao. Because I wouldn't know, because I haven't practiced. The simplest solution to all of this, after you've gone on your first date, after you've spoken to this person, ask them what the next step they want. It's very simple. That is literally it. Women want to feel safe. Women want to trust. Every single part of your date, you have to see it like an audition. And everything afterwards as well. And I'm not saying if you follow all the right steps, you ask them, oh, when would you like our next date to be? I really enjoyed myself. I would like to see you again. When are you free? And you might do that, and you might go on a second date, and it might, be great. And then a third date, a fourth date, maybe on the fifth date, you do buy some flowers. There's no correct time for this because each and every individual in this world is different, and what is acceptable to one person might not be acceptable to another. But if you ask the question, I ask my clients when I first start working with them, what do they think the problem is? What do they think they need help with? Why? Why do I ask that? Because if I assume, then I might get it wrong. If you go on a date and you assume that they want to have 12 bunches of flowers delivered to their house, they're a little bit concerned about how you got their house details, their address. Like you would be if I randomly sent you something after you hadn't given me your address. But if you ask them, when would you like the next date to be? It makes things a lot simpler. But it might still not be perfect, and that person might not be the one for you. But what you've got to see is every single time you go through this process, you're practicing so that you are not perfect, but you are close to perfect for the person that is the right one for you. The saying, you kiss a load of frogs before you find your prince. I know it's related to fairy tales and princesses and all of that, and I don't believe in any of that. But the truth is that you do have to practice, and you may make mistakes and you may have some failures in any element of your life, not just dating. But every single time that happens, you move forward, you just try again, you do better. And then when you do meet that person, the one that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, the one that you're going to be happy with, you are as close to perfection as you can be because you've done all the practice, you've done all the failings, and then you don't mess up with her. So that's my take on love bombing. If you are struggling, I am obviously an anger management expert. That is essentially what my degree is in. And I also know a lot about stalking behavior. I know a lot about controlling behavior. If you are at the next level where every single relationship you're getting in, they're saying you're controlling and they're wanting out because of that, then there's a lot more work that you probably need to do. And I would suggest it doesn't have to be with me, but I would suggest one-to-one work on that. If you do want it to be with me, if everything that I said has resonated with you, then put in your application and we'll have a chat and we'll see if we're right for each other. I'm going to come back. If that isn't the case and you just want a little bit of extra help, go take my quiz. It will give you it'll give you the outcome at the end of it, but then what will happen is I will then send you some stuff. I personally look at every single quiz. So I do actually read them. It's not an automated system. It is me looking, and I will give you advice based on what your answers have been of the steps that you need to take. It's completely free. I will put it in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast, and I will put it in the comments if you are on YouTube. Go and do the quiz, see where you sit, whether you are ready for dating, whether you do need some help. Because there are some people that do the quiz and I literally email them back and I'm like, I don't think that you need my help. So go do the quiz. If you found this interesting, go and have a look at my other videos, go and listen to my other episodes. I have got an episode, it is actually episode 1 on the podcast that talks to you about how to talk to people if you're shy, if it's the first time. So go listen to that. It's really, really useful. And it actually gives you what I do to overcome my anxiety, because actually I used to hate this. Speaking on camera, I used to hate speaking to people. Introducing myself to a new person, going to a new job was literally my worst nightmare. And here I am talking to all of you on here. My actual tips are on that episode. So go listen to that if that would help you. Please subscribe Subscribing alerts you to when the next episode is out. And if you've listened right to the end here, you clearly enjoyed what I've got to say and you clearly want more. So go and subscribe. And also, if you're listening on the podcast, I really, really appreciate the stars and the reviews. And again, I read every single one. So please go and do that. I will catch you next week. Have a lovely week. And I really hope that I've helped.